Hi everybody, I'm here with my friend Holly again, and we are here to do video number 2 of 7 red flags of unhealthy relationships, and we are going to highlight today isolation. These are from the lyrics of the song, my new single that I put out a couple months ago. It's called Mr. Nightmare, and this is the line: I've broken out of your hold, I've broken out of your jail. Isolation. So, how would you say, what type of isolation or jail did you experience in whatever relationship you want to go back to? That was not, was not fun.
Well, you know, when I think of isolation, I think of, like, how do we get isolated? I guess comes to my mind first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can get isolated in a couple ways. One is the other person might say, like, lies about us or something like that, and so other people don't want to come near me because, well, I'm a bad person because they, you know, that's what their perception is, I should say.
Oh yeah, and lies was our last video. If you missed it, go to the youtube.com/Shelley Harris video, and we talked about lies. So yeah, they want to isolate you. So one of the ways they do it, you're saying, and I've also experienced, is to make you look bad to everybody else, so that people will then isolate you.
Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
in there.
did you have that? I had that. I had my ex isolated me by, he would tell my family and friends lies about me, stories about me. So then people wouldn't approach me because I was obviously the one that was wrong.
Yeah.
And then I think I perpetrated, if that's the right word, I don't know. I fed that lie in a way, because then I thought, what's wrong with me?
Right. Yeah.
And then I start saying lies to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I must deserve this, or I must have done something.
Yeah, you think it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all my fault.
Yeah, so as I think back, and thank God I'm out of all that, yay, he would tell people, well, first it started with the complete opposite. It was flattery. Oh, this woman and I were on the same page right down to the period of a sentence punctuation. She's the most wonderful person. And then after my money was all spent, and he decided to move on to somebody else, it was, she's crazy and I need out of this, you know. And then they start looking at somebody else, the next victim. But another way that I was isolated was, he did not want me to work. Now, mind you, he wasn't working, and the house was in my name, everything was in my name, but he didn't want me to work. He wanted me to be home because it wasn't healthy for the family for me to work. But when I would say, then who's going to pay the bills, he would throw things, get mad, or hit himself. He liked to hit himself, throw himself against the wall, and then it scares you, and then you become fearful, and then you isolate yourself. So
Right.
even
Right.
the fear that, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're afraid, even though, like, there's so many avenues, there's so many ways to help get people. I love now, like, every time I go into a woman's restroom, they're like, if you're afraid of violence, there's a number to call, there's a people to call, there's friends to call,
Yes.
there's things to do. So and they know what kind of situation you're in, so they're not going to out you.
Right.
There's a lot of help. I think more so now than when we were in
A lot more. Yeah.
our situations.
Yep. And I was also, I may be repeating myself, but afraid to talk to people about it because I was afraid of what he'd do. I think I might have just said that. But anyway, that's a big one. Fear.
I was afraid of what people would think of me.
Okay.
I was afraid that people would say, well, of course, you know, you're, like, in this thing because you do this and you do that. And
yeah.
like,
It's another one. Yeah.
and then I think
Which is not helpful.
it's not helpful.
It's not helpful.
Well, there's a balance, right?
Yeah.
But-
There's a balance.
There's a balance,
Yeah.
because, like, I would love to blame my ex for all our problems. I would love to say he was an alcoholic, which he was, and he was verbally abusive, which he was, and he was never around, which he was. You know, all those are true. So it's easy to just say I was in an unhealthy relationship because I was with an unhealthy person.
Right.
However, here I am I'm in a current, as you know, Jim, my healthy relationship. We love Jim.
We love Jim.
Wonderful relationship with Jim, right? And it's a healthy, and it's all good, except for 2 years ago, I found myself in the same kind of position. He wasn't drinking, and he wasn't like going and doing anything wrong, but he was out a lot. He worked a lot. He had his clients. He had client things. This is the kind of stuff. And I'm home. I'm taking care of the house. I'm taking care of this, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm isolated.
Got it.
And what I found was that was my pattern.
Right, and I want to stay there.
Okay.
So yeah, the purpose of these videos is not to man bash or bash anyone, but we want to share the path out with you, because we've come out, we've been in, and we've come out. So keep that in mind.
For sure.
That's where she's going, and I love it. We're live. We don't know what we're going to say. But that's what we want to do, so you guys know that you can get help.
Right, because I was in the same kind of...
So you found the same pattern was still there, even though you were in a healthy relationship.
So I'm alone, like, and it was crazy, because all of a sudden, very unhealthily, because we're, even if we're healthy, we're not always healthy. It's constant strive, and we constantly find ourselves back in this pattern. We constantly have to work our way out.
Good.
So I go into this unhealthy, like... I was screaming at him.
I'll share mine in a minute. Go ahead.
Because all of a sudden, like this whole like, oh my God, I'm in the same situation. I am totally isolated. The fear.
You were just triggered, like
I was
crazy.
triggered. I got crazy. Right.
Yeah.
I did get crazy. And so I went crazy.
I said like crazy.
I was crazy.
Not you were crazy. I didn't say you were crazy.
I got crazy on him. I'm like, oh my God, you're isolating me, and you're going on these vacations, and you're home. You're never home, and da 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 da. And he, thank God, we're healthy and we're good, right? He was able to come back to me and said, I had no idea. You said, and I did. I would say, he's like, is it okay for me to go? Yep, I got it. I can do it. I'm great. I just put up this wall, and that's another isolation,
right?
Oh
man,
I put up this wall that I got it. I'm in control. I can take care of myself. I don't need you.
Right.
Is what he hears.
Right. Oh.
So of course he goes off, and I'm sure I did that with my ex.
Yeah.
I got it. I don't need you. I'm perfectly capable, and then I contributed to the situation. That was really eye-opening for me.
So a big key takeaway from this video, guys, is that she owned it. She owned her side of it. I owned mine as well. So when I went away for 9 months to just research, get help. These people actually took me in, and it was a counseling center. I think you know the story, a church, a counseling center. And I got to work through some of my stuff as well. Well, I married Steve. We'll be married 2 years next month. And it's a really good, healthy relationship as well. And the same thing I experienced as we were walking through our first months of marriage. We have different ways of doing things, different family systems. And one thing in my family is when somebody's sick, you're there for them. And in Steve's family system, it's leave them alone so you don't get sick. And I think that was the big trigger for me, was I'm in bed, I'm feeling really crappy, and where are you? And I felt myself doing the same thing, getting really mad, and I was freaking out. And but luckily with him, we can just talk. So the next time I got sick, I got sick again. My students come in and bring sickness into the house. That's a side note. I'm going to get an air filter. If you have any ideas for a good air filter, text it to me, because I'm going to kill the germs that walk in my house for now. Anyway, we talked about it, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay. So the next time he did much better with that, and I also didn't demand as much. See, it's both sides. And so, since being in a healthy relationship, I've come through another level of healing and of owning my own, because you trigger each other. But it's kind of cool, because here's the difference. In a healthy relationship, the person you're married to or in a relationship with, because it can be a family member, a mom, daughter, whatever, they listen and they can hear your side without freaking out, throwing things, breaking things, hitting you, pushing you, blaming you. All right, if any of that's happening, you need to get out, get help. But anyway, they will listen, and you can sit calmly and then listen to their side, because they have a side too. And then you can come to a compromise. It's really a cool thing.
I thought you really brought up I'm listening to you, and the one thing that triggered me, I guess, is blaming you. Like, so if you say what you're feeling, and sometimes we have to watch what we say, because sometimes we'll say it.
We got to communicate well.
Right.
And we might be accusatory, and
right.
We can
Because I feel this because you're an asshole. That's kind of trigger.
Right. Or the you always.
Right.
And you never.
Right.
You don't want to do the you always.
Right.
That's not
so
good.
we have to learn how to communicate well.
And that comes from knowing who we are.
Yeah.
Being able to relax. And I got nothing to prove. I'm just going to be me.
Right.
Go ahead. It's your
no,
story.
No. I think I think you're bringing up good stuff.
Special guest.
Well, I think if we try to understand that everyone's coming from our heart.
Yeah.
And our compassion, and try to understand what the other person is saying, and they need to do that for us too. But if we say something, our feelings, and it just comes back, well, you're stupid, or you're like, you have issues, and you're the one with all the problems.
Yeah, you make me.
Right, you make me. You know, there's a warning sign.
Every time you blank, you make me. No. I love that.
Anyway, I don't love that.
This is all you. I don't have any idea how we're gonna close this out.
So what are some ways that you found work? Like what's healthy?
Well, it's what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay, so the red flag is if you can't talk to somebody. Number one, go get counseling. See if they'll go with you to talk. That would be nice. But yeah, you really can't build on something if you can't talk without them being violent. We're not.
Right.
I don't know how to close this out.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Are we good?
I think what you're on the right line. I think, obviously if you're afraid for your personal, and that's a need, right?
Safety.
To be safe.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Then you need to get help. You have to have your needs satisfied, and you have the right to get your needs satisfied. Mm-hmm. And be able to communicate. And if you're not able to communicate, that's an issue that, like you said, maybe it's time to get help. And not be putting the blame on someone else.
Right.
And taking your own responsibility, but also realizing you have the rights to what you need.
So we're back to self-care.
Yeah.
It all comes back to self-care. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you have girlfriends, other people you can vent to.
Girlfriends are awesome.
We have a lot more words to say than the men.
and they can sometimes help you discern what's true and what's not true.
They can.
A real good.
So what I learned was exercise, eat right, get good sleep, have some good friends, self-care, friends where you can take the mask off and be you.
And know that you're not the only one out there. Like, people aren't going to judge you, especially a good girlfriend. They're not going to judge you for the situation you're in. So trust them and build up that rapport by being vulnerable. And you're going to get closer.
Transparency and vulnerability. Yeah. Nice. Anything else?
I think that's good.
Okay, so here's the pitch for the song so you can hear what on earth these videos came from. It is my new single, kind of new. Mr. Nightmare. You can buy it on iTunes, and here's the deal, you can find it on YouTube. There's a video that goes with it too, youtube.com/Shelley Harris video. And then Spotify, it's streaming on Spotify and Amazon Music, Mr. Nightmare, and I do go by Shelley Harris, still using that as my music name. I think that's it. I think that's where you can find the song. I encourage you to look for it.
It's awesome.
And we'll catch you back with some more of these. We have 7 red flags. We've only done 2. So we'll be back. Hope your day goes well, and I hope this was some help for you.
Bye.
Bye. I have to come up here to shut it off, which I really don't even see the off.